Hi guys, now we are going to talk about the what is Cloud Foundry, okay, and why we choose Cloud Foundry out of all the clouds, right? Because it's not that popular like AWS or Azure or Google Cloud. Okay, the reason is the promise of the Cloud Foundry architecture is to provide vendor neutral platform for developing cloud native applications. Okay, so if you see the diagram in the right, you see that the applications will be in the top. Then the next layer is the Cloud Foundry. And if you see the cloud provider, that is the fifth level in the bottom. The bottommost level is the AWS or Azure or Google Cloud, right? Or OpenStack, Red Hat OpenStack. Any of them will be the bottom layer. And indirectly, your cloud providers can talk to the Cloud Foundry and to your application um, in a way so that you don't have to keep on redeveloping things. You just develop your application once and you can use this. So basically, once the cloud native applications developed, preferably using Docker images, that's the new way. It can be deployed using cloud provider interface to AWS or Azure or Google using a shell called Bosch. Okay, so this is the promise of if you try to develop your applications using the Cloud Foundry, then the deployment and everything is seamless across the cloud provider. You don't have to keep on doing it, and your developers will be just focusing on one way of doing, irrespective of the cloud provider, right? But still, it can yield the same result, right? The runtime, you will get the same thing. So this is a great promise. So that is why I want to go towards this architecture, because eventually previous videos series we saw about AWS, correct? Now in future we are going to talk about the Google Cloud and later to the Azure, the microservices, right? Microservices deployment, how to do it seamlessly. That's what we are trying to focus on, so that you get the hybrid cloud architecture uh, seamlessly, right? Seamless hybrid cloud architecture. That is the promise of this Pivotal Cloud Foundry. This way, for those services which doesn't need any specialty services from cloud providers like AWS, could be packaged once and run across cloud providers using the Bosch, right? The Bosch shell, it's going to make sure it's going to execute across the AWS or GCP or Azure and provide you the same result. At the same time, the Pivotal Cloud Factory applications can talk to other AWS specific services like Alexa or machine learning. These specific AWS services, you cannot compare apple to apple with Azure or to GCP. They all have their own variations, but it's not apple to apple. In that case, you can still connect your PCF applications. If you have microservices deployed in PCF, you could leverage it and you can react to a voice enabled application using Alexa or machine learning things. Um, in the case of AWS, we are using a service broker for AWS. Similarly, for Azure and GCP, there will be a brokers available, so that you are not limited to just the PCF specific application you deployed. You get the benefit of the portability, so that's we get the portability as well as taking advantage of specific cloud providers capabilities. It's the best of both the worlds. Okay. Okay, now what is a okay, to get a free account, you have to go to the console at run.pivotal.io and you provide a username, password, email ID, and you don't have to provide any credit card. You get initially probably around $100 worth of things for free. You can start running it. One comment here though is this service is used to, there are constraints in everything. Okay, so for example, you can use on the free tier only 2 GB of memory. Okay, if you run one application itself, it take 1 GB by default, so you could just run 2 microservices and then you cannot run the third one, so you have to use the corresponding memory options while running the applications into the Pivotal Cloud Foundry. And also how long it runs, also it will be charged. So soon you will exhaust your free tier if you are not cognizant about what you are running. So if you are not, once you see the demo, once you know how it works, you should stop the services. I'll show you what it is. So so the console.pivotal.io. So if I go here, I already have a thing. So let me go here. Let me go to, in this case, it will take me directly. Okay, see, it's asking me whether use this, or I can say sign a new account and create an account. So if I say the create the account, it's going to ask me the steps, what I need to put. So the first name, last name, okay, and the email address and the password, and I agree. Once you do these things, you are ready to take it to the Cloud Foundry. I already have it here, so I'll just go inside this. So you guys get your own thing. Okay, as soon as you do it, it will ask you what is your organization name or project name. In my case, my company name is Agile Rules, so I provided that. Right now, this is kind of a web console. Okay, through this web console, once you get access, first to get the access, also the same URL. Once you get the access to the cloud thing, you can see your applications, what's being deployed. So we are going to use this to see. Okay, then this is one thing. So now we got the account, now we logged in, it's a web console, and you are ready to see there is no application right now. Second thing is for CLI application, you will be needing to download. So what they are saying is, this is what the CLI. So the URL what I gave you, it has everything. So in my case, I have a Windows. So search for Windows. So here you can see different versions of installation. You can use zip version, or if you want the executable version, you can go and do it. If you click on the executable version, immediately you are going to get CLI Edge Windows 64.zip file, and you unzip it and run it. And once you run that, you are going to get a command prompt, and this command prompt, you can say CF. If you say CF, it's going to give you all the options what you have, correct? So this is one way of testing that your CLI is installed properly. As soon as you install the CLI, after downloading the zip file, unzip it and run the executable, just open your command prompt and just say CF. That's it. You should be able to see the whole command. Okay. So that is the second step. The third step is you can access the web console through this. This is what I kind of showed you in the first. For the same, for logging in also, and also monitoring also the same things. Right now, if I go and show you guys here, Agile Rules organization, there is no applications there. Okay, so we are going to come out with applications. Okay, so we did all the three steps installations wise. Okay, now, okay. In the previous videos, the first set of videos, what is microservices, the movie catalog service, talking to the movie info service and movie rating service, and Dockerize it, push the images to the Docker image. So those things are part of the previous videos. This is the continuation of that. Once you have the Docker Hub images, you could use the same image to push to AWS. That is that set of video series. Now we are going to use the same Docker images and put it into the PCF. Got it? There is one command which is very important, PCF push That means you're pushing. What you're pushing, you're saying you're pushing the movie rating service. And you can say, what is the memory? Minus M 256 M. If you don't give this, by default is 1 GB. Okay. And that means only 2 applications you can do, maximum for free tier. That's why I make it 256. Then minus DD, minus a Docker image. Then your Azure slash movie rating service colon the snapshot. Then minus random route. So if you run this, it's going to push the thing. So let's go and I have the same command here so that I can Control C, Control V more easily. So I'm just copying this here, and now I'm going to my thing, and I'm going to say this same command. I'm just trying to run this. I'm running this baby now, and what's going to happen is it's trying to push this movie rating service. So it's getting the image from the Docker hub, basically the cloud, and updating app the attributes, name, blah blah blah, port, updating app, waiting for app to start. See, it is doing it. Yeah. The first time it will take a couple of minutes. Okay, and one way to monitor is through this command line, and since you got used to this is one more way to monitor it if there is anything. See, it's telling you something. It is telling you there is it's Azure rules as a development. You have a space by default. It gets a development. You could have a stage and prod and so on. See, now you see this is having the movie rating service, and this has the URL too. So once you go to the URL, it try to go here. Now I need to map it. See, maybe the movie rating needs to have the catalog. This is the movie rating, right? So I'm going to copy this end of it slash rating data slash user. So we are going to say what is the context. So we'll try to do that. Wow, there you go. See, immediately you are saying for a user ID 100, it has the movie ID 100 with the rating of 3, and the same person has seen another movie 200 and the rating is 4. Okay, and we don't have this metadata. Eventually you'll have the metadata populated, but for now you see it has this information. Okay, now you don't know what is the 100. That is why the other service. So we are going to use the next service now. We will go back to our thing, and now I'm going to copy this one. Okay, so this is a movie info service. This is the movie info service. We are trying to push in a similar way. So movie info service minus M 256 mega MB, and Docker image is this one, and the random route. Got it? So now it is also doing the same thing, waiting for the app to start. And as usual, we can go here and see if this going to the second one is kind of starting. That is why it's not, see, saying starting, it's not fully started. We'll see that. There you go. So now this movie info service has come, this movie info service. Now I can try to suffix the movie info service thing. Got it? So for movie info service, if you see this here, now we are going to talk to the external REST API, which I talked in the initial videos, and it's going to tell you what is a movie 200 means, Star Trek, and what is the real description of that, and so on. So since I gave here 200, I got 200 here. If I change here 100, I will get a 100 thing here. If I give 1,000, I don't know whether 1,000 is there or not. Probably I would say 500. See, you get the different thing. This is actually going to the external database, and this is owned by a separate REST services by the MovieDB, Movie API, REST API. Okay, so this is also done. So now the third step is this. The third step is pushing our catalog service. So this is the composite service. So we are going to CF push movie catalog service, same thing, memory, Docker image is different, and a random route. Okay, so this is going to do the same kind of, I think it takes another a minute or something, getting the info from the repository, mapping the routes, and trying to push it. Okay, but one thing we cannot test it immediately, because remember in our old thing we told, since it's a composite service, it needs to resolve two things. It needs to resolve the rating URI and movies URI. So these two are environment variable. That means we need to set the environment variable. This is how you set the environment variable. CF set env movie catalog service, rating URI, rating underscore URI, and you provide the thing. Now I need to make sure this URI is correct. So for rating, this is the info, correct? So this is the movie info. I'll take this one more time just to be safe. I'll put this movie info here. Okay, it copied to 2 times the HTTP, so we have to be careful with that. Okay, so this is good. So since it's every time when I try to do it, it's a random route, it might be different from the last time. So we have to make sure you copy the URI thing, the route thing, and you make sure you put it back here. Okay, so HTTP comes again. Okay, so now I need to execute the movie catalog service rating URI, and I have to do this. So let me go and do it here. Okay, so it's basically setting environment variable rating URI for the organization Ajay Rose space dev. Okay, so we have to do one more thing here for the movies URI. Okay, so we get the route as soon as you run any service, and you set that as an environment variable here. So once you do it, this is saying is CF restage. So you have to restage thing, because it doesn't know at this time. So we have to, okay, so I'm going to CF restage movie catalog service. So what this is going to do is, this is going to take into account your environment variable, and it's going to restage the same application. Okay, so that it's going to basically stop and restart it. Okay, it's also going to take a minute. As soon as it comes, meanwhile what we can do is we can go back here and try to go to, this is stopped, I know, but yeah, so let's wait for it to start, and your is running. See, as soon as it starts, then you can just go here. Now you need to make sure this is movies, this is rating, and this is catalog. We need to have the catalog. So we are going to get this context, then go back here, put the context here, and do this. And yeah, wow, there you go. So now you are saying your movie name and the corresponding rating. Similarly, the movie name and the corresponding rating at one shot. So previously on the rating service, you just got the movie ID and rating, and for the movie info service, you just got the movie description. Here you are getting a holistic picture of what is the movie name description along with this rating for a given person. So you got the, so this is functionally working as it is. So couple of things I want to go back and show you guys is, so here this is it's going to tell you how much memory is being used. So it's using 1 GB right now between these three applications. Got it? And you can see what is the member. So yeah, I'm the member of this. And if you want to see the routes, these are the different routes available. And we set this, we ran the rating and info, got the route, set it in the environment variable, and restage the movie catalog service so that it also will function properly. So now our composite web microservices working in Pivotal Cloud Foundry with just a couple of steps. It doesn't have too much things actually. So how easy it is, right? So that is what it is. So if I go back to the steps here, so the deploying the Docker image to PCF we did, then we created the environment variables, then we restart or restage, then we logged CF. So there are two ways to look at the log. CF logs movie catalog service log. It's a command line way of opening the logs and looking at it. I also prefer to go with that URL, web URL. So that's also good. Okay, so we saw end-to-end microservices deployment and how it works. Now we are going to have some future discussions. So the questions are like, even though the environment variables try to help in the microservices world, the container IP address keeps changing, correct? Every time we try to stop and restart, you're going to get a different route. So which is okay for demos and initially, but the promise of the microservices is you are going to have so many microservices, and for every microservice you could have multiple instances of it, which will be managed automatically. So in that case, the instance is going to be changing a lot. So what is the best way? So how to get the DNS or service registry address so that even if the underlying IP address changes, DNS name is same or DNS address is same. So to solve this, we have the Netflix Eureka service, which could be used. So in future things, I'll try to show a similar demo for that. The next challenge is, while calling a composite microservices, even if one microservice fails, we can give some default values and make overall service work. So this is also one more design pattern. Basically, since you are having multiple microservices chained with each other, even if one microservice fails, the overall microservice composite will fail. And this might not be functionally feasible. Sometimes they want to go with some default values. So for that, Netflix service circuit breaker histories can be used in that case. So I'll try to show a demo also for that. The next challenge is, while calling a multiple microservices, is there a common place to do cross-cutting issues like authentication, rate limit, fault tolerant, service aggregation, etc. Right? Yeah, if it is a plain Java application, the Spring has come to provide you the solve some of the cross-cutting. But now we are talking on the cloud native application. There is a way to do. Yeah. So PCF route services. So remember we saw the routes, right? So we could have multiple routes, and through your route services, you could simulate something like a API gateway, and in that extra routes you could do authentication, rate limit, fault tolerant, blah blah blah. You could do that. So I'll try to come up with the video also for that. The next challenge is multi microservices will be deployed in multi environments with multi instances. How do you maintain configuration info centrally? So this is also very important because as we are getting more and more flexibility, that means you are going to have a problem in maintaining so many variations of it. So Spring Cloud Config Server linked to the Git repository can be used for this, for a central repository. So I will come out with a future video also in that. Okay. So before I wrap up, I just want to go back to this thing and show you guys there is one more option called the marketplace. Okay. So there are, like in AWS, you have an RDB, So similar to an RDB, you have a MySQL thing here. Okay. So for example, if I go and search for MySQL, um, you see there is a MySQL thing here, and you could have a circuit breaker. We talked about the circuit breaker, right? So you have a circuit breaker here. So the cool thing is you could use your local way of testing using the circuit breaker thing, and for the cloud you don't have to deploy the circuit breaker code. It's already has it's have a service. All you have to do is you have to just link the service to your application. Okay. So one is circuit breaker we saw. um, so you could use the memcache cloud. So if you want a cache, you could use the cache. New relic, for if you want to monitor application, you could do that. There is a pivotal cloud cache. There are not too many actually, it's very handful, so which is good if you can able to learn. PubSub, if you want to use the PubSub, there is a PubSub. There is a quota guard, there is a Redis cloud, and there is a um, custom search. If you want, you have a Searchify, Elasticsearch, service registry. See, I was telling you the registry thing, right? The kind of a DNS, so you can use that. So I will come out with one more video saying how to link the services to your application so that you get it automatically. Okay. So thanks, guys. So now you see the power of the pivotal cloud, and now you know how to deploy your microservices seamlessly. Okay. We'll see it in another video. Thank you.